The Prophet of Islam had solely one daughter named Fatima. Her mom Khadija had two different daughters from her two until now marriages. When the Prophet married her, each daughter's got here with her mom to stay in the residence of the Prophet. Hazrat Fatima, S.A., was once born 5 years earlier than Bethet when Muhammad, S., was once about 35 years historic, and her mom Khadija used to be about 50 years old. She has many different titles: Zahra, Lady of Light, and Sayyidatun Nisa al-Alamin, leader of the female of the worlds. The date of her delivery was once 20th Jamad al-Akhir. After the dying of her mom Khadija, she seemed after her father the Prophet of Islam so devoutly that Muhammad, S., used to name her Abiya, i.e. the mom her father. This used.
Thanks for watching. Like, comment, share and subscribe. Like it.
To be the hardest time for the household due to the fact in the equal year Abu Talib, who used to be the protector of Muhammad, S., from the animosity of the Quraysh, additionally died in the equal year as Khadija. Muhammad, S., married Salama, an historical widow after the dying of Khadija, to have any person to seem after the family chores. When Salama used to be requested to tutor the toddler Fatima, S.A., the sensible female responded, "How can I tutor one who is the personification of excessive virtues and purity? It is I who ought to study from her." Her childhood, therefore, used to be surpassed in a very chaste and modest environment. It was once then that she noticed her revered father preaching Islam in the most adversarial atmosphere. The hostility of the Quraysh after the loss of life of Abu Talib and Khadija was once the strongest. Fatima noticed and dressed the wounds sustained by means of her father due to the stones thrown on him by using the non-believers who had been ho to the preaching of Islam. She may have heard and viewed that sure wretched female hurled garbage on her noble father. She may have learnt of the plans made to put an quit to her father's life. But from all these matters Fatima used to be neither apprehensive nor disheartened. She comforted her father, tended to his wounds even at that soft age. The complete household used to be blanketed with clouds of sorrowful gasoline and result of the nearly everyday humiliation and mockery to which her most revered father used to be subjected. Migration. When the migration took place, Fatima was once left in Mecca with the relaxation of the family which blanketed her step-mom Salama, Ali's, as Mom Fatima bint Asad and many others. Ali, as used to be in cost of the family. He stayed in Mecca for every other 3 days to supply returned the deposits to the Meccans who entrusted these to the Prophet for protected keeping. After satisfying this obligation, Ali, as added the household to Medina. Marriage. After 1 year's remain in Medina when Fatima, S.A., used to be about 18 years ancient, that proposals for marriage commenced to be obtained through the Prophet, who with courtesy refused to take delivery of by means of truly announcing that it is in the fingers of Allah, that he was once looking ahead to Allah's decree in this matter. Fatima, S.A., was the mannequin of prophets, educating amongst girls simply as Ali, as was once the quality embodiment of his directions and manly features amongst men. They had been the most appropriate couple to be married. But Ali, as used to be too modest to talk about it. After some persuasion from pals, he ultimately went to see the Prophet in the mosque and proposed for marriage. Prophet informed Fatima about it and requested her whether or not she would approve. After receiving her consent, the marriage of Fatima, S.A., and Ali, as took location in the easiest feasible manner. Ali, as offered his protective armor for 200 dirhams, delivered the cash to the Holy Prophet, who delivered a comparable quantity and requested his companions to purchase family items to set up domestic for the Holy Family. Marriage used to be solemnized through the Prophet himself, and after marriage the couple went to stay in a separate residence subsequent to the house of the Prophet round the mosque. Children Hassan, as used to be born in the third 12 months of Hijrah, Hussein, as was once born in the fourth 12 months of Hijrah, Zainab used to be born in the 6th year of Hijrah, Kulthum used to be born in the 7th 12 months of Hijrah. It used to be in the equal residence that the well-known verse of purification, Surah 33, verse 33, was once published on the Holy Prophet, and its narration by way of Fatima has emerged as so well known that it is studied in each Muslim residence as Hadith-e-Qissa. The reading of this hadith brings advantages to the household. Tafsir-e-Kabir via al-Razi. It was once in the equal residence the place this blessed household fasted for 3 days consistently, besides consuming any meals, giving away their iftari to a beggar, an orphan, and a prisoner who arrived at the door and requested for food. The verse in Surah Dar printed in reward of their extraordinarily charitable act in the way of Allah. It used to be in the equal residence the place each morning the Holy Prophet stood backyard and stated loudly, Assalamu alaikum ya alabaitan nubuwa, peace and benefits on the human beings of the household of the Nabi. There was once so lots admire in the coronary heart of the Holy Prophet for Fatima, S.A., that on every occasion Fatima, S.A., arrived in the mosque of the Prophet, the Holy Prophet stood up to appreciate her. This gesture was once additionally to exhibit the companions' admire for ladies, usually, which was once missing in the Arabian society of the day. These acts of the Prophet had been to exhibit the companions that this residence and its occupants have a one-of-a-kind area in the way of Allah, and that this fame need to be maintained after the demise of the Prophet. Unfortunately, this used to be now not finished as the Holy Prophet supposed his companions to do. History tells us some very unhappy moments linked with this house. After the demise of the Prophet, when Ali, as did now not come out to supply his oath of allegiance to Abu Bakr, the door of the residence used to be burnt down to get him out, and in the manner Fatima, S.A., used to be injured. Her 5th unborn toddler died due to the fact of this harsh motion of some of the companions, and she herself died inside 3 months of the dying of her Holy Father. The following strains of poetry exhibit her ordeal after the loss of life of her Holy Father very clearly. After the dying of my father, my sufferings have been so fantastic that if such hardships fell upon days, the days would flip into nights. Fatima, S.A., was once an image of womanhood in Islam. How a daughter, a spouse and a mom ought to behave in their regular lives. She was once committed to her father, appeared after him when he was once in misery through the arms of the non-believers of Makkah. She was once the exemplary wife, queen of her family, but truthful to her maidservant Fizza to divide family chores between herself and the maidservant. She was once a religious spouse and the most loving mom to her children. There have been activities when there used to be no meals for the family. However, she would by no means complain. Once, Ali, as went out to do some work to get meals for the household, however lower back empty-handed. Fatima requested Ali as what came about to the food. Ali as stated that he did earn some cash and offered food, however whilst on his way domestic he met some negative hungry humans and gave away all the meals to them. When the Prophet heard of this scenario, he introduced some meals for the household and advised him that Ali's charitable act used to be of the biggest price in the eyes of Allah. The entire household was once grateful to Allah and there had been no complaints in opposition to anyone. She would go to the mosque of the Prophet to take part in the prayers with all the ladies. She would go out in the battlefield to have attendance see the wounded. In the fighting of Uhud, when her father was once injured, she tended him, cleaned his wounds, put some burnt wool on the wounds to end blood flowing. When the Holy Prophet recovered, he thanked her for her awesome work in the battlefield. Death of Hazrat Fatima, S.A. On 3rd of the month of Jamad al-Thani, Hazrat Fatima, S.A. died. This used to be about 90 days after the loss of life of her holy father. Asma binte Umayis in the identical residence to assist her family work tells the story of her loss of life in a very shifting manner. When the day arrived, she organized meals for her children. Then she informed Asma that she used to be going to her prayer room. She would say takbir loudly at a range of intervals. When Asma does no longer hear the sound of takbir, she ought to go out to the mosque and inform Hazrat Ali as about the dying of his wife. If in the intervening time the kids come, domestic provide them meals earlier than telling them about the loss of life of their mother. Hassan and Hussein arrived and Asma added some meals for them. They stated they do now not consume barring their mom, and she had to inform the youngsters of the dying of their mother. Both entered the prayer room and stayed with her for a while. Hazrat Ali has arrived and organized for the closing rites. When he used to be giving her remaining bathtub, he cried loudly. Asma requested the purpose and he stated he may want to now not undergo to see the wound by using her facet when the door of the residence fell on her due to commotion with the aid of some of the companions of the Prophet when they all desired Ali as to come out of the residence for the oath of allegiance to Abu Bakr. After performing the remaining rites, she was once taken to the cemetery of Waqia in the darkness of the night time for burial. Very few household individuals had been current at the burial of the daughter of the Prophet. Some historians say that she used to be buried in her personal residence, which grew to become section of the Masjid-e-Nabawi all through the reign of Umayyads Caliph Umar ibn Abdul Aziz. Janatul Baqi. This is a plot of land now not a long way from the place the mosque of the Prophet stood, and the homes of his companions round it have been constructed as residing quarters. This land was once used as a cemetery for the Muslims. The well-known author Mustafawi writes in Nuzhatul Qalub, the cemetery of Medina known as Baqi lies to the west of the city, and right here is considered the grave of Ibrahim, Prophet's solely son, and additionally the grave of his daughter Fatima. There are graves of Prophet's grandson Imam Hassan, Imam Ali ibn al-Hussein Zain al-Abidin, Imam Muhammad Baqir and Imam Jafar Sadiq. As for centuries there has been a marble slab over the graves, and on this is written, in the identify of God, the merciful, the compassionate, praise be to God who sustains the countries and who offers existence to useless bones. Here is the tomb of Fatima, the daughter of the Apostle of God and the Queen of the girls of the world. Here is additionally the tomb of Hassan ibn Ali. Here is additionally the tomb of Ali ibn al-Hussein. Here is additionally the tomb of Muhammad ibn Ali al-Baqir. Here is additionally the tomb of Jafar ibn Muhammad as-Siddiq. May God want them all. The cemetery of Baqi was once destroyed by way of the Wahhabis in 1932. A present-day creator describes the scene as such. 1. When I entered the Baqi, the sight which I noticed was once as if it had been a city which had been razed to the ground. All over the cemetery nothing was once to be considered, however little, indefinite mounds of earth and stones, portions of timber, iron bars, blocks of stone, and a damaged rubble of cement and bricks strewn about. It used to be like the damaged stays of a city which had been demolished by using an earthquake. All was once a wasteland of ruined constructing fabric and tombstones, now not ruined by means of an informal hand, however raked away from their locations and floor small. The creator of this e-book additionally visited Baqi in 1995 and determined that the authorities have erected a wall round the total region of Baqi, incorporating additionally the Jewish section of the cemetery in it to make it into one massive cemetery. A platform was once constructed simply outdoor the wall, the place human beings can stand and see the graves of the holy Masumin and shed a tear or two. People had been allowed to enter the internal circle of the wall after the Fajr prayers for 2 hours, however had been now not allowed to go close to the graves. They had to stand about 30 toes away from the vicinity and can see the outlines of the graves. Besides 5 Masumin, there used to be a mark for the grave of Hazrat Fatima bin Asad, mom of Imam Ali, as this is Jannatul Baqi, the place, the most liked daughter of the Holy Prophet, collectively with her young people and grandchildren, lie in desert, barring even a tombstone over them.
Thanks for watching. Like, comment, share and subscribe. Like it.